Hey guys, this is Tyler here. I want to discuss briefly a topic that some people have inquired to me about, and I myself frequently notice, and that's what age is the right age to begin day trading? And it's difficult to give a single response to this question. I'll summarize it like this. First and foremost, it depends on the person. It depends on the young person, level of maturity, the funds that they have, ability with pattern recognition, and also a lot of psychological traits like self-control, self-discipline, even understanding the difference between seeing opportunity or just outright being blindly greedy. Those are all factors here. Simple answers depends on the person, but someone could certainly be 16. Some 16-year-olds may not be ready. Whereas there's 20-year-olds likewise wouldn't be ready either. And there's other 20-year-olds that also could be. One thing though to consider with trading, it definitely rewards risk taking and the quick response time on your feed of a younger person in general. When you look at most actually successful self-made day traders, the majority of them usually develop and refine their skills during their 20s, sometimes into their 30s, but it's uncommon to see people once they get to, say, around 40 and they begin to take off. It usually doesn't happen. There are some rare exceptions, but those are usually the patterns. Like I said, if a 16-year-old has a job, like a summer job, and they can make enough money, they probably are living with family members, and they can set money aside, have a custodial brokerage account, this is a great time to start. Now, yeah, there's common questions like, isn't this like promotion of gambling for young people? Yeah, you could see it that way. But then again, you could see a lot of high risk activities the same way. I mean, people in the UK have kids doing Formula One. And prior to that, go-kart racing when they're in their teens. That's very high risk. That's dangerous sport. Anything can be seen as risky. Now, if someone has a high compulsive nature, like if a kid, sometimes gamers make really good traders, but likewise, this could also hijack a young person. If they have a very compulsive, obsessive mind, they're also obsessed with the screen, it's probably not a wise thing to have them start trading. Why you really have to look at the person and their individual situation and the interest in this area. We are in a position now where you can start with as little as $2,000, make an unlimited number of trades. This is unprecedented. Keep in mind in the early 2000s or the 90s, when day trading started to become a word that people recognize, the technology, the computer software, the speed of computers was not there for a majority of people. It was unfathomable the kind of trading that people could do in their home today. It's incredible. It's both good and bad. Obviously, I mentioned in other videos, there's going to be a lot of liquidity added into especially the microcap stock market. Probably something akin to the COVID of 2020 when all these small cap stocks started making these incredible 200 to 500% moves every single day, sometimes 2 or 3 stocks. We're probably going to see this more frequently. And yeah, there's going to be some people that take massive losses. That's why you have to understand and refine your system of trading. And also keep in mind, most of these big companies now have simulators to practice, and this is another thing a young person can use this. Get on a simulator, practice it. Like, it's still not the same thing as real money, but when I look at like working with students, I work with high school students in my day-to-day work. They have the brain and the fast on the feed demands of making a really good day trader. These are the traits, the base traits that are foundational, making progression in this area. And like I said, some people aren't geared for this kind of area. It could become a really bad addiction, no question. When you look at like gambling apps and whatnot, and people start comparing these, or even a prediction market company, it's like Kashi, and then they start comparing this to day trading. You could compare, but it's different at its heart. And going back, anything can become a risk, honestly, in life. Driving can be super risky. What matters is the person behind the wheel. To simply answer this, some 16-year-olds would be ready, possibly even younger 14-year-olds. 18 to 20, of course, once you're 18, you can open your own brokerage account, no strings attached. If you do feel like you have certain compulsive behaviors, like addictive behaviors when it comes to anything related with money, maybe take a step back and ask yourself, is it worth it? If it is, then go for it. I mean, you can certainly capitalize. Now, one thing I will say that I see with a lot of younger people, that's kind of an advantage. There's the obsessive part, compulsive part. You see this with video gamers, but some of them also don't seem as headstrong on the money. It's more like a challenge, like a game for them. And that's really important. With a lot of older traders, they may absolutely rely on this money, so they cannot afford to take big losses. Whereas that younger person probably has somewhere to lay their head. They're not doing this to simply pay the bills. They can lose most of their money and still restart over, or just decide it's not for them. It's a big plus of a younger person. And also the sentimental value of the money. They may approach it much more like a game challenge rather than the fact that it's the stock market. That's a huge plus. Not all young people, but some of them, more of them probably than older people, would likely view it from this angle. And like I said, the risk-taking properties are also there. Give me your feedback, guys, on this, and thank you. Have a nice day.